Hey guys, this week on Good Luck Sis, we talk about celibacy, abstinence, whichever you want to call it. We talk about touch deprivation and intimacy deprivation. So if this is something it sounds like you want to listen to, go ahead and tune in.
I feel you watching me pull up across the room. I think you like the view. You gonna make a move. I don't make this easy for you.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Good Luck Sis. I'm your host, Tati J.
And I'm your host, Ellie.
And this episode, I think, is like the third installment because over, I want to say, the past 2 to 3 years, I've talked about my personal journey with celibacy, abstinence. I'm going to say celibacy. People interchange them. I'm just going to say celibacy. And if it's wrong, oh well, don't correct me. It is okay. So we're going to go ahead and dive into that today. So I feel like, so you guys already know, I forgot, what did I name him on this podcast? Sanitizer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a good sign. I forgot. That's a good sign. So Sanitizer, and how I broke my celibacy for him 2022, the end of 2022. Then, we didn't work out. Obviously, we weren't in a relationship, so there was nothing to work out. So we stopped in 2023, and now it's been a little over a year since I've dealt with him, since I've dealt with anybody, and we're grown, since I'm saying dealt with anyone, had sex. So back on this celibacy journey once again. Am I happy to be here? I mean, we're here. It's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, it's a learning process.
It is what it is. We're here. But, this is not my first time. And I think it's just like you go through this phase where it's like, oh, I'm cool. I don't really need no one. I don't need sex. It's not the right person. So it really doesn't, it's not going to fulfill you as much as it could when it is the right person.
Right.
But we're also human. And it's not like, in a sense, I'm a virgin where I don't know what I'm missing. You know what I mean? So you go through these stages where it's just like, oh, okay. It's not even like you miss him. Or you miss somebody and you just want anybody. It's just like you're deprived. And we're going to go ahead and break down what I believe I've been going through in terms of the different types of deprivation. So when I hear the word deprivation, mind you, I didn't look this up in a dictionary, but I think of to be without, to starve, to lack. I'm deprived of this. And we often hear the term touch deprivation.
Yeah.
So, and it doesn't even need to be just sexual for touch deprivation. Like, I know there's like children who grew up, their parents never hugged them. So then when they grow older and like, they're just often like, oh no, don't touch me. I don't want to hug. Like, you know what I mean? Because they were deprived of that physical touch. Obviously that's just not what I'm going through, but this is just an example that it doesn't always have to be linked to like a sexual connotation when it comes to touch, but physical touch. And it's like, it's not just necessarily like sex. It's like a hug from a person that you actually, like a male for me that you like or care for, or just like a cuddle, a big spoon, little spoon, a holding of hands, a kissing on the forehead. And it's like the other night I was on TikTok and then I came across a TikTok and the girl was like, oh, I find good music. That way you don't have to. And it was this instrumental of a guitar song. And on my phone, I have multiple playlists. If you don't have playlists on your phone, there's something wrong with you. Because how are you going to be in the car and then you're 95 degrees, I ain't got no nigga. And then a gospel song comes on after. That kills the vibe.
Shuffle.
Yeah, like, so if you don't have a playlist, get a playlist. So I have multiple playlists. And one of my playlists is like kind of like my getting ready, cool, like little, Summer Walker, SZA type vibe. And then I do have a sex playlist that I've never played.
So you just never play it?
No, it turns out I've never.
Oh, I got it.
And you know where that comes from? We've all seen the movie Love and Basketball. And her. And that is on my place. And I know it's not,
Not us, bro, like, together.
And ever since then, it's just kind of like, oh my gosh. So when you have sex, you have to play music. And you don't. But it's like a nice little set the vibe situation. So I have it on my phone, but I've never like had to play it. Other music from other people have been played, but I have my own playlist. So the song I found on TikTok, I was like, oh my gosh, this is such a good instrumental. And I added it to both playlists. And then when I was listening to it, I got teary-eyed. And I was just like, why am I crying? And I was like, wow, I miss being with a man. Like, I just miss like someone giving me a hug.
Intimacy.
Not someone, a man. Because I want to like, and I don't want this to come off of like, girl, she's thirsty for a man. But like, let's really talk about what choosing yourself means.
Yeah.
Choosing yourself and I just wrote a poem about this too. Choosing yourself means getting touched less. And no one talks about how getting touched less actually affects you emotionally. And I was sitting there in bed listening to the song. It's like, damn, when was the last time I kissed somebody? When was the last time a man that I was interested in gave me a hug, held my hand, a kiss on the forehead? And I'm saying these things because it's not just about sex. It's all those other little things that show meaning through physical touch. And I was like, I really miss that. Because it just gives you a sense of security, a sense of, wow, someone else wants me too. Like, oh, someone else is interested in me too. And then as a human, we all have that want and desire to be wanted and desired. But then as a woman, you definitely just like, damn, I want a man to look at me and be like, yo, that's mine. Let me hold her. Let me put my arm around her. Let me show her and show others that this is for me.
That's my girl.
That's my girl.
My girl, my girl, my girl.
That, and what's so funny? I feel like, I'm 29. It is whatever. When I got single, like I always said, I never had a whole phase. But I definitely had a kissing phase. I like to kiss.
She said, I had a kissing phase.
And it doesn't have to be like, you're my man, I'm a kid. Like, I just, we're having fun, whatever. And we kiss. To me, it's just like, And I remember when I went to your bachelorette and I was rooming with Tasha and Cindy, I was like, yeah, I'm going to find someone to kiss. I'm like, this is a trip. I'm like, at that point, it's been a year. I'm like, it's been a year since I kissed somebody. Like, I'm going to kiss someone. Oh, I lied. It hasn't been a year, guys. A little memory came in my head. Hasn't been a year since I've kissed someone, but it's been a year since I've had sex with somebody. Over a year. I'm getting real honest on this episode.
The vulnerability.
And I was like, yeah, it's been a couple of months since I kissed someone. I want to kiss someone. And then Tasha said something like, oh, really, Tati? Like, you kiss people? And then Cindy's like, you don't know.
We seen it.
So like, you don't know, Tati. I was like, girl, I don't be having sex with a lot of people at all, but one thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna kiss. That's one thing I'm gonna do. So I was just listening to the song and I was just like, damn, it just really got me in a reflective state of mind. And I just feel like sometimes too, when you get to that point, and it goes away, it's on and off, but like, you have to know, because say if I felt that way and then the next day I met someone, I'm already in that mindset, whether I realize it or not, that I am deprived at this moment. Like I am craving this. My body is craving this. I'm emotionally, mentally craving this. That can really alter your decision making.
A lot. And
you can go ahead and pick the wrong person because essentially they came at the right time for your body.
Yeah.
And I was just like, damn. So how do I know and this is why celibacy is a great time to reflect and think, because it's kind of like, how am I going to be able to discern, do I really like and want this person to be my partner, or do I like and want the attention that's then going to serve me later on?
That's easy because you don't even know the person when you meet them. So it's just like after when you get to know them, you're like, okay, I want this person because this is the person I see dating further on.
How red flags look green?
Yeah.
This is how red flags look green.
But it's always intimacy in the beginning. When you see someone, you're like, oh, wow, he's attractive. Like, it would be nice. It's not, you don't know anything about him to even want him for anything future.
I think sometimes people, I'm not even going to say women, I think men probably do this too in a different aspect. You're in a point where you're lacking so much that at that point, any person who can give you that,
but that's when it's desperation.
Exactly. But a lot of people don't see that.
It's desperation. And there's a few times in the date, like single life, it's desperation. I, to be honest, don't want them. No. Honestly, don't want them. But it's a sense of like, it's nice to know that someone I'm texting wants me, but I don't want them. We're both, if he doesn't know, I'm wasting his time. So it's just like the whole thing, like he's wasting my time. I've wasted people's time. I don't want you. But it's just like, oh, haha, hee, I'm bored. Let me just, oh, wow. Like he told me I'm beautiful. I just needed that for the day. Okay, bye. And I ghost. I don't talk to you for the rest of the day. So it's that you're seeking the intimacy of just like that person telling you, oh, you look beautiful, or wow, like for example, when we have a cute outfit, the thirst traps.
Yeah.
The thirst traps, I know I look good.
I like doing that.
And the target is like, you know, you like someone. So you post that picture. Yep. And okay, the DM comes through and you're out with your girls, you're in Miami, you're about to go out, you post and he responds like, gives you the eyes or like, wow, you look so beautiful. This, and you're like, oh, good day. You respond, give him the smiley and you're like,
mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished.
I caught the fish.
I caught the fish. For the rest of the night, you're like, who cares? I don't need any other attention because I just got that attention right now. I don't think there's nothing wrong in seeking attention to a limit, as in like just feeling like, you know, that you're beautiful, desirable. But I think you need to I think we need to also understand that there is a limit of desperation. Like you cannot go out here just because you're seeking intimacy, seeking like you want to feel touch. If your love language is physical touch, you go out here again, if that's what you want to do you, but just go out here and just sleep with anybody. Like, I just think there's a sense of recklessness. Is that a word? Yeah. There's a sense of recklessness that's there. Yeah. Because me personally, this is how I feel. Like sometimes there's oopsies. And we talked about that yesterday. I don't want I was so desperate. I just wanted to feel touched. Where now he's celebrating his, not saying that's a mistake, but it's just like, now you got to deal with someone who's in your life, you're a baby daddy that's causing you stress. And all that was like desperation at that point. Well, granted, you know, it's a blessing. You get a child out of it. But all the same time, with the blessing comes stress.
Well, I'm laughing because I tell my friend this all the time. We need to stop acting like babies are always blessings. They can be two things can be true, a blessing and a curse.
No, that's what I just said. Yeah. A blessing comes with the curse.
Yeah. Two things can be true.
So let's try to make the right decisions of just getting that blessing and not just getting the blessing with the curse. Well, nowadays, you're seeing the blessing coming with the curse. Yeah. You're having a baby daddy that's giving you stress. And now you got to deal with his baby mama job. Like, come on. That's because that was, you decided to make a terrible decision in Miami or in New York. Yeah, you're touch deprived.
It's a real thing. It's a real thing.
With deprivation of like being touched and seeking intimacy, I've been in the position. And I always said, I've always been in those positions when I'm bored. If I'm busy and I got things going for myself, that feeds my soul. And that's the sense of like what you mentioned of just like, being alone. Being alone, I have to keep being successful. Yeah. Like keep pushing myself and growing. But when I'm stagnant, when I was single and I was stagnant and I got nothing going for myself, that's when the deprivation of intimacy comes. Oh, I want someone to make me feel good. But I can make myself feel good when I'm doing good.
But it's different because even like, and like I said, we're going to get real TMI here. It's not like I'm horny. I'm not. I just craving human interaction from a person who I feel like I care for and who someone cares for me. So even when I was thinking about this, I was like, am I touch deprived or am I intimacy deprived? And I think I'm intimacy deprived.
I think you're intimacy
And
deprived.
I think we just use the word touch because it's so known. We think, okay, yeah, she just want to have sex. Like, no, I want to feel... I want to be intimate with someone.
It's not even sex. I think it's also like you just want to touch, holding hands. Yeah, that makes you feel okay.
Because it's like, I'm holding hands with Ellie right now. This is doing nothing for me. Yeah. Intimacy. Because it's something else. It's something more. It's something greater that I'm seeking for. And it's something greater that I feel like I'm missing. If we're going to be honest, my life is full in many aspects in terms of career, in terms of family, in terms of friends, in terms of my passions. Like it's full, but I'm not going to sit here and be like, you know, being single doesn't also alter something else in me. Like I'm full, but I'm not filled to capacity. And it's like, and we are so afraid of saying, I want a man and a man doesn't complete me, but I'm going to be honest with you. I'm incomplete. I'm incomplete. And I'm incomplete not because I don't have a man. I'm incomplete because I don't have my man. And I want to say this because it's not like, okay, I need a man to feel complete. No, because any man can't do that. But I think it's like, it's so hard and it's so looked upon as weak and embarrassing for me as a woman to say, yeah, guys, I want a husband. I want to be married. And to be honest, if my life doesn't go that way, that shit's gonna suck. Yeah. And it's gonna hurt. And I'm gonna be hurt. And it's like, I don't need a man in the traditional sense of like, I need a man to pay my bills. I need a man because without me having my man and my husband and my family, I don't think I personally am living to my full potential. And you don't hear women saying that because they're
embarrassed. Like they're embarrassed to say it.
Why is it? And I wish I brought this up when we had the episode with Double M. I don't know at this point if it's going to be out or not, but it's just kind of like, we're such in a society where it's like, and unfortunately, in the public eye, men do us so wrong that we're even afraid to speak a little hope or positivity because we're afraid that it's going to come back to us. Like, oh, she was so in love. She said she wanted a man, and look, now she's divorced. Or look, now he's cheating on her. And it's just kind of like, I feel like us trying to save face is us like not being vulnerable and soft enough for a man to look at us and be like, oh yeah, she could need me. Like, you know, we're so like, I don't need a nigga, like blah, blah, blah. That energy that we're putting out there, they're receiving it, whether we realize it or not, versus me saying, and you're like, y'all know, I'm gonna say niggas ain't shit. Like, you guys know that. But at the same time, it's just kind of like, y'all, I want a man. Right now, my life is good, but it's not to where I want it to be. It's not to where like, and it's like more, and I recently went through a situation where I was just kind of like, wow, I don't have a male in my life that I feel like, and like I have my dad, and it's like if I ever really needed something like for real, he's gonna come through, but it's a different type of thing. Like I'm not sitting up cuddling with my dad, telling him my you know what I'm going through. Yeah, you know, so it's a sense of like I lack a security and I lack a protection that only my husband can give to me. And it's just like walking through this life as a Black woman is already hard enough. And in the same way we talked with Mike and Marvin about like, we want to be that safe space for them to take off that cape and lay those burdens.
It's like, who's your safe space?
When you don't have that, that shit hits different. And no one talks about what wanting a man or what wanting a relationship really looks like. It's not for only those financial or other tangible things. It's like, bro, my soul needs someone else. Like I need someone else. And I don't have that right now. And it hurts and it sucks. And like, even though one of the episodes I said, I don't know if I'm out of my single era yet, but at the same time, I have moments like this. It's like, baby, if I'm not out of it soon, like if I don't find that person soon, it hurts. And it's just like all of this and this is why I say celibacy is a great thing, because I wasn't thinking like this when I had sanitizer. I was like, okay, we're not nothing, but the itch is getting scratched and it's doing what it needs to do. It feeds that physical portion. It feeds the physical touch that's surface level. It's not feeding anything else. And I want everything else on top of the physical. Yeah. So it's like I said, you have them nights where you're just listening to them songs and you're just looking up at the ceiling. It's just like, God, okay.
It would be nice to have someone to listen to the songs with.
You know?
To make me feel good.
It would be.
I think we need to normalize women feeling like that. The desire of women being like, I want a husband. I want to be loved, you know? And, you know, women saying, I'm tired of dating and not finding the right guy. Yeah. I think a lot of women are embarrassed to talk about it because it's just like, damn, why my desire to want a husband make me sound like I'm thirsty? Exactly. It's not that I'm thirsty. It's that I desire to be loved. I desire to find someone that I can share my life with. And just like being in a marriage, it just really showed me like, damn, this is like the most beautiful thing ever, to be able to share your life, to have a partner, to have someone that you could, you know, just connect with is just amazing. And it's just like, it's like a hope and desire that hopefully everyone has. And, you know, just for that person to make you feel whole and, you know, if they fit into that missing piece is just great. So it's just like, I completely understand the desire of wanting, baby, I've talked about it before. Like my desire, I was like, God, I want that man now. I want it now because I had my desire of wanting a husband, and you know, I prayed about it, and I think that's when I reached my peak of just like my limit of like, I want a man now. That was it. Because before it was like my single era, like you said, and I just wanted to have fun, enjoy life, but I wanted a man. But then I reached the point of like, no, this is it. I really want a man just to make me feel whole, just to have that connection, just to have that person that I can lean on and just, have that support.
And I think sometimes too, like, I feel like we try to give options. Oh, take yourself out on dates. You just gotta pour into yourself and love yourself. Yo, I love myself. Like,
it's different.
Like, I love myself. I go out by myself. Me not having a partner doesn't stop me from doing anything that I want to do. So it's just kind of like, bro, like, let's stop. Let's stop with the solo, like, not stop doing them, but let's stop giving the advice of the solo dates. Okay, just go on solo dates, go to therapy and find yourself. And then I'm like, bro, I'm already doing it. I'm already here. Because sometimes when we give those options, it's like, okay, once you do that, you're going to feel different. Or once you do that, then your husband's going to come. Let's stop. Let's be able to just let us say how we feel and really understand. Until that person comes, there's no solution.
Yeah, there's no solution.
There's no solution. Until that person comes, you're going to have the ups and downs of feeling like you're lacking a person because you don't have them. So you are lacking them. You're lacking a sense of intimacy. Like, there's a whole... And when I say I'm incomplete, it's because I know I'm not living up to my full potential, because I know there's a side of me I haven't even touched yet.
Yeah.
I haven't been in a relationship since I was early 20s. I haven't been in a real grown adult relationship. There's a whole other side of Tati that is a wife, that is a caretaker, that is a mom. So it's like, yeah, I'm not living to my full potential because those things can't be unlocked until I meet him. And it's like, but I know I have the capabilities of being these people, these other versions of me.
Right.
So I think sometimes, like I said, we incorporate women wanting to be into these things as desperation, but it's like, no, like, I just know in my heart of heart, my full potential is me living to all my capabilities.
Yeah.
And there's a side of those capabilities that I can't touch until that person comes along.
That's absolutely right. The only thing, yes, it's like, it's a little tiring. People are like, oh, take yourself out. Like, I'm all about solo dates, taking myself out to eat. I love eating. I love we're only child, so you understand when I say
we can do stuff by ourselves. That's not an issue. We can do stuff
by ourselves, but it's just like when you have that person with you, it's great. The only thing is just I recommend or suggest for anybody in that season is that we always have growth. We always have ways that we need to grow. We're not perfect. You can get into this relationship where it's just like, damn, like, you could be better.
Yeah.
So it's just like in that season of waiting for continue to grow, continue to work on yourself. So you're an amazing partner. So when that person comes, they're like, oh, damn, like, wow, you've really worked on yourself.
Yeah. Because when I was creating this outline and really diving deep into like, what is this intimacy deprivation? And it's kind of like one of the things I was like, okay, so how do you cure it? How do you treat it? And I was just like, there's nothing. There's nothing. There's no, until you get what you're deprived of. Like, I think the only thing, like Ellie says, continue to be able to live your life without it.
Yeah.
Until you get it. But it's like, until you get it, there's nothing. Until I get my husband, I can't be a wife.
Yeah.
Not saying I can't be a mother, but the way I would like to be a mother is not possible until that person comes. And I think it's just kind of like the way I needed a degree to be a nurse, and being a nurse is what I wanted to do. I couldn't do it without this. Right. There's certain things in life I can't do without my husband because he's part of that journey. He's part of that package deal. So I think just reframing the structure of our minds and allowing women to, because if a man says, yo, I want a wife, it's okay, he's ready, good job. Like, he's not desperate. He wants a wife. He's finally there. But when a woman wants a husband, a woman wants a man,
like,
it's like,
chill, like, damn, sis, like,
relax, you're thirsty. Yeah. It's not that big of a, I'm just like, wait, what? Why is it that? Why can't I want love and it's okay? Why can't I say, yeah, I do want a husband, and without me feeling embarrassed to say that?
I don't think you should. I don't think I've ever felt embarrassed to have the desire of saying I want a husband. And I think in previous episodes too, I mentioned that like we need to normalize women being like, I'm praying for my husband.
Yep.
It's just like, embarrassed. I see people embarrassed, be like, I want a husband. I'm like, girl, say it loud. You want a husband? Manifest. Say
I
it
want to
so
be
God can
married
hear.
and I want to have 3 kids. I don't know how many boys. I want one. I don't know, boy or girl. I want one of each, and then the third one is a surprise.
It's like whatever God wants to give to me. And I think there's no cure for deprivation, like intimacy deprivation. But I think in that season of really wanting a husband, one, definitely working on yourself, and 2, what feeds? It doesn't cure, but what feeds?
And and this is where we're going to get real.
What feeds the intimacy?
Because
like what feeds it?
If it was just touch deprivation where I just want sex, we can feed that easily. We can feed that with other people. You can feed that yourself. Like, let's be real. But when it's intimacy deprivation and you're searching for something deeper, you're searching for that emotional connection with someone else and all that comes with it, I don't know what can feed that, because it's not like, okay, I am doing the podcast. The podcast has nothing to do with me wanting a man. Going to work has nothing to do with me wanting a man and the things that come with not having one. So, like I said, there's nothing. There's nothing, because even if, and that's the thing too, what I said earlier, it's not a man, is my husband, my man, because a man can walk in here and he still may not do that for me. And then that's another challenge, is just kind of like I said, it would be easier if it was just physical, because any man, well, not any man, because we know women lie about orgasms and stuff, but just generally speaking, any man could feed that part, the physical. Not any man can feed. And it's like, I'm looking for a specific puzzle piece that goes into my heart. Yeah. And I don't even know the shape of it. Like, so it's like, I'm just testing and trying and trying and trying. And it's just like,
so in my season of when I started to look for my husband, I mentioned it, I worked with my therapist on it. I finally knew exactly what I wanted. You cannot go out there looking for a husband if you don't know exactly what you want. And 1, you cannot be looking at the wrong places. I was looking at the wrong places. I was just lying to myself that I really wanted a husband because I wasn't looking at the right places. Those are all jokes. If you really want it, look at the right places. And my therapist was like, what rooms are you putting yourself in? I think to feed that deprivation of intimacy, you have to put yourself in those rooms to date and to find those guys. You cannot be in your room, and people always say you can't find your husband in your room, but you cannot be in your room like, oh, I'm empty. I need intimacy. And not actually. And I know the dating life is really hard. That's like a whole situation on its own. But it's like, you have to sit down with yourself. And I remember when after meeting with my therapist, I made a list of where I was going to go. I was never that youth in the Seventh-day Adventist church that was going to church programs on Fridays or this program that's going on. You'll see me on Saturday for church.
That's it.
Or see me for big conferences and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, bet. I want a husband. So I need to start going to these Friday night events, Wednesday night prayers, put myself out there, praying for God. And then I open, who's that? And once I decided that, I made the list, I was like, programs coming up. Actually didn't even get to do it. And then boom, it happened. Met my husband right after. But it was just I actually started making the effort on feeding, and that gave me hope in my process of finding it. So it kind of hope feeds it a little bit. Yeah. Because when you're not doing anything, it's like you want a job. Oh my gosh, I'm broke. I need money. And then you're not on Indeed. You're not applying. Where's the hope of even knowing that it's coming? You're getting an offer or getting a phone call. So you need to put yourself out there. Yes, sometimes you're on Tinder, you're swiping, the guy's trash. You're going to meet trash. I don't like saying that, but you're going to meet guys. Let me rephrase. The truth. You're going to meet guys who are not ready. And that's not your husband. That's somebody else's husband. That's not your husband. And that's going to teach you about yourself. Yeah. That's going to be another episode for another day. That's going to teach you about yourself. And you're going to look back when you're in a healthy relationship oh, thank you. He actually was trash, but he taught me about myself. Yeah. And that is going to give you hope when you're in that, after you learn about those things. It's going to give you hope, your man is going to come. Sometimes you're sad, wow, there's really trash out there, but he's coming.
Eventually.
But you have to keep putting yourself out there. And at the same time, when you're putting yourself out there, find ways to still protect yourself. Know the red flags. What are your limits?
That intimacy deprivation can really skew your view.
The last guy I dated,
things.
he was like this. Oh, I realized I don't like that. I thought I liked that bad guy type of vibe. Oh, girl, you're learning that that's not for you. So it's like learning through the process. Like you said that you wish you dated more. I think dating is actually very helpful.
But can we talk about how dating is not as easy?
It's not.
Because
it's not easy at all.
I've just never been the girl that like, hey, do you want to go on a date? Like that doesn't like that rarely happens. But it's not that I don't interact guys where we have a connection, where we can make out a little bit, where we, flirt here and there, but it just never leads to the dating. I think men will date who they want to date for sure.
Absolutely.
And I understand that. I think that sometimes it's hard as women to be like, well, I'm just not for him or I'm not his type. It's hard to say those things, but that's just the reality of it. It's not anything bad. It's just, it is what it is. Men will date who they want to date, but at the same time, I think just as a generational thing, dating, like, you could see a guy and have an on and off, hey, flirtatious, hey, kissing, hey, da-da-da-da, for like 2 years and never go on a date with someone. I think also that's just generational, like that's just a millennial thing too. It doesn't always have to lead to going outside.
Gonna be there.
Yeah.
So that your deprivation intimacy is gonna be fed that night. It's just that you get it. You get it.
Like,
that's
it's just,
that's your thing for a long time.
Yeah.
For a long time.
It's like when we see each other, we know what's up.
You know what's up.
And it's like, that's a thing now. It's like, in a sense, it's like, that person's going to be at the cookout. That person's going to be at the party. That's not a date, but that's your date. Because that's just, you're seeing him and something's going to go down. So that's your planned time to be with that person. So it's just kind of like, it's very tough to navigate that, being in this generation when dating has takes such a turn that, baby, I feel like I can't even navigate, because it's just kind of like, you can go out, meet a guy, what's your Instagram? And then it just turns into a liking of the stories and the hard eyes and this, and that's as far as it goes. Granted, like I said, a man who wants to date you will date you.
Absolutely.
But also, when there's so many other things that can be done besides dating, it's kind of like, why would I? Like, I can still get to know her through her Instagram stories. I can still hit her up
through the podcast.
Through the podcast. I can still hit her up through DM and we have conversations every now and then where we flirt. I can still get information I would have gotten at a date without going on a date. So it's just kind of like, here we are, all alone in this room. Shout out to Drake. Like, this is just the reality of it. And it's just like, here we are. And
you're going to meet the guys that take you serious and go on dates with you. And it's just like, one thing about dating is that I realize I could have done better back then when I was single. It's just like actually putting more effort into dating. There were times you said yes to guys and after you're like, I know he's not my husband. Like, so negative. Why did I say yes to this date? This means
sometimes you really never know. You should always take the chance.
Not my husband. I saw a TikTok post the other day. She's like, when I was getting ready, I was like, I really don't want to go on this date. And now he's my boyfriend.
You see, like, you just never know.
And it's like, the girls are like, oh my gosh, he's so fine. Like, why didn't you not want to go? Because Tinder, you can see how he looked. And it's not that, she's like, it's not the fact that he wasn't cute, I didn't want to go. It's just like, it's tiring as a woman. Because when guys go on dates, you just pull up, have conversations,
spend some money.
But girls, when we go out on dates, we want to do our hair. We want to do our makeup. We want to look good.
It's tiring to get ready to feel like, and you know what the thing is? It's tiring to get ready when every other date clearly has not led to anything because you're still single. Yeah. But yet you're still doing it again. Putting yourself out there again because even when I get like this, I'm just kind of like, why do I think it's going to be so easy to find the one person in this world that's for me? Why do I think it's going to be that simple?
We think it's simple.
It's not. But of course it's not.
It takes work.
But it's tiring too.
It's tiring.
Because obviously if I go out with 100 people, only one of that 100 is going to be for me. But it's like, I got to go through that 99.
You gotta go.
I gotta go through that 99. The funny thing,
what about you go on dates and all along your husband's right there in front of you? So it's just like, you did all that looking, searching for him, and he was right there. So it's just like, it's the process of still, being patient, still trying to feed that deprivation of intimacy. What does feed it It's that going on dates for you. And then there's a lot of people who don't like dates. Then maybe put yourself in bigger crowds, like the same way I was like, go to activities. There's running clubs now. There's different. That's where the men are. That's where the single men are.
And you know what? I went on a speed dating thing 2 months ago. Shout out to Chris, the Source Socials. And the guys were cool. Didn't really make a connection with anyone. But I was just like, well, so what do I want? Because nothing was wrong with these guys. They just weren't my guy. And I was like, you know what? I just want a male version of me. I think I'm great. I think I'm amazing.
I always said that.
I just want a male version of me. And it's just like, that really got me thinking about like, hey, what kind of man do I actually want? Because like I said, you can come across good guys. That just doesn't mean they're your guy. Just because you're good, that's great. Good is the bare minimum, because you should be good as a human. Like, that's the bare minimum. But what is it going to take to make that good guy my guy? What specific characteristic, what specific traits will make him for Tassie versus making him for Ellie? So it's just kind of like opening the doors and like paying for the thing. Like, those are the bare minimums where it's like,
we often forget what we really want.
Yeah.
Like, what looks good is not always the best. Yeah. Personality characteristics, how the person was raised matters. Going back to starting off, finding my husband, my therapist said that make a list of negotiables and non-negotiables. And every time you do meet a guy, add on to it.
Yeah.
And that way, and go back and revisit what it is. And when you do meet a guy, look at the list. Does he meet any crazy non-negotiables? Like, he gotta have, like, I don't know if this is one, but he gotta have a car.
That's not crazy, but I would like it.
It's not crazy. That's not a non-negotiable. But like, where does the person live? Do they live in New York?
Do they need a car?
Do they live in Seaport?
Yeah.
Things like that makes sense.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense, but it's just like, it gotta make sense.
And then lastly, there's like, on TikTok, like, it girl and blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, if I want to, my it girl does this. She does yoga. She does blah. She does blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you're not going to get there until you actually do the things to become that it girl. So when you figure out what you want in your partner, so it's just, sometimes when I pray to God about my husband, I'm just like, God, I hope he had a good day at work today. Like, I hope his day was, like, I'm specific enough, as specific as I can, not knowing who he is and what he does and everything. But like, when you figure out what you want him to be and the characteristics, just also think, okay, this type of guy, where would he be going on a Friday night? Like, you know what I mean? So same thing you imagine for yourself, like, my future version of myself, the best version of myself would be going to this type of conference or this type of event. Same thing for your husband. Like, I would like a man who's creative. So, okay, my type of man possibly could be at an open mic. Let me start going to open mics to see if this is truly this type of space I feel like I could find him. And if it is, I'm opening myself up more to that opportunity. Or if you feel like your type of man is going to be in finance, most likely his job might be in the financial district. Maybe once a month, let me go on a solo date out in that area where I think my type of man could possibly be.
Being there,
like, so you really got to start thinking the work about this. And like I said, this is where I'm saying you just can't say I want a good guy. You really got to get into your future husband's head, even though you don't know him.
Let me tell you.
And be specific and be like, where could this man really be?
There's narcissists out there. So just like, he can really show you that he's a good man, but you have to know him on a deeper level. So just like, yes, looking for where he is and also getting to know who that person is.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well,
it's a journey, but it's like I'm ready journey. It's like, let's fight.
I'm ready and I'm tired at the same time. It is what it is.
Battle.
Some days I'm going to be crying, looking at the ceiling, God, why? And then some days I'm going to be talking on the podcast, like, okay, this is what we got to do. So, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Thanks for allowing me to be vulnerable. Anyone who has negative comments, keep it to yourself, because I really do not care. And I feel like hopefully this creates conversations amongst both men and women and creates a space where women don't have to be ashamed to say that they want a man and what that means and what that comes with. And hopefully this inspires people to be a little bit more proactive as much as you can to find that person for you. So we are wrapping up. We are going to go to my favorite brand. So my favorite brand is actually two. This lip combo is brought to you by both MAC and ColourPop. So I am definitely a MAC chestnut girl. My when I first got into makeup, I had a signature red lip. Tati was known for her red lip. Then I evolved into the neutrals and stuff like that. But I also want to like start doing other color combos that's not just red, or it's not just a neutral, or it's not just a gloss. So I have on MAC Night Moth lip liner. It's like a berry plum. And then I also have on ColourPop the lippy sticks in Gold Digger, GOAL, Gold Digger. So I use these two together, and it comes up with this kind of cute purple plum look. And granted, it's probably more of a fall color, but I'm not that type of girl. I'm gonna wear colors whenever I want to. And I really like it, and I just feel like, you know, the girlies are really coming out with good lip combos, especially on TikTok. A girl could be just telling a story, and then on the comments, what's the lip combo? What's the lip combo? What's the lip combo? And I really feel like I'm not wearing any makeup right now. I just did my brows, put some lashes on, and this lip. I feel like a lip and your brows can really save you and go a long way when you don't want to do anything, but you want to look like you did a little something. So MAC Night Moth, and then ColourPop's Gold Digger lippy stick. So that is my favorite brand, and that was our episode today. All right. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode of Good Luck Sis.
Bye y'all.